All right, so let's have a look at how we can release our obliques. So let's coming on down. Now, if you remember when we've worked through our obliques and understanding our muscles, we found that when we're pregnant, our oblique muscles often tighten and pull our diastasis apart when our TVAs lengthen and get weaker. So our oblique muscles are pulling apart this way. So if I come up so that you can see, they're pulling this way. And what we need to do is we need to release them so that they can come back towards the midline and allow our belly to come back in together. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and work that release. So number one thing we need to work first is make sure the bottom of our rib cage is down around the ground here. So if everything's really tight and we have that arch back, we are going to have our rib cage off the ground like this. Now if this is you, you might want to put a towel just under your top of your shoulders and neck there to help you bring it down. In fact, you can bolster it up right until you feel that bottom of your rib cage down on the ground. Then as you get lengthened and stronger, you'll be able to do it without that bolstering. Second is, if you remember when we were testing and just lifting our head, and we're testing for that diastasis, if you're not feeling your rectus muscles coming together as you lift your head and you can't find that outside part of your abs, then this is a really good indication that your external obliques are too tight and they're not allowing that movement to happen. So this is something that you definitely should be doing. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look to keep our rib cage to the ground. So in order to do that, we're going to use our hand and bring it down. So hold it like this. And then we are going to allow our legs to drop to the other side, making sure our rib cage stays on the ground. So our legs aren't going to move far because we don't want this to happen. And the reason we're doing this is because that is giving us a stretch in our obliques to start with, okay? And if we did this and we allowed our rib cage to come off, then we're not actually stretching that oblique muscle at all. So we are holding our rib cage down, remembering bolster if you need to, allow our legs to drop just as far as they can go without anything lifting up. Then you're going to take your opposite hand and you're going to move those obliques down towards the midline. You're just going to work it, find any areas of tightness, working it through, keeping it moving just in towards that midline, bringing it down and in, down and in, and keeping it working like that. Just spend a little bit of time here, a little bit of loving for your belly, and bringing it in and down. Then I want you to repeat it on the other side, so holding that rib cage down, dropping the legs, getting that initial stretch, and then again bringing them in and down, in. So just working those obliques, allowing them to move, telling them that they're okay. It's okay to move. It's okay to lengthen. You don't need to be on fire all the time. Keeping it moving in and down, straight in towards that midline. Excellent work. And then coming back to the center. Feel like good breath. In fact, why don't you even check your diastasis after doing that? Sometimes all it takes is that to release, and then when you lift your head, suddenly things start moving in again, and you can start feeling your diastasis actually starting to close again. The other thing we want to do is we want to release our rectus abdominis. So we're going to grab, and It's really hard to do it yourself. Ideally, you'll have a partner who will come in and grab your rectus, but you're trying to grab that rectus and lift and wiggle. Grab it, lift and wiggle. Grab, lift and wiggle. And again, find areas of tightness. So for me, it's much tighter down below here in this area, and I've got my C-section scars and all sorts of things down here. So this is where that rectus is tighter. So you should be able to really grab it and bring it together, lift it and wiggle. So if you're doing it on your own, I find it easier to cross my hands, bring it in and together, lift and wiggle. Lift and wiggle, lift and wiggle. And again, find areas. You can even bring it in with the heels of your hand. And just moving everything towards that center line. That's what you're aiming for. And try it again. Try that test. See if that has helped and whether you're starting to feel a little bit more movement of that abdominals going in towards that center line. Let me know what you find.